My name is Ed Berg, and I would like to tie for you my style of a parachute fly. So I've got my thread started on the hook, and this is whatever your favorite dry fly hook is, nothing critical here. And I'm going to take off 3 micro pivots that we'll use for the tail. And I'm going to measure those off to just about a shank length. That's kind of conventional Mayfly proportions. And I'm going to take 4 or 5 or 6 turns of thread here and get those held in place. Trim the butts off. Now, even on this size 14, at this point I'm going to take the twist out of that thread so that it lays down nice and flat. Because by the time I get to the rear of this hook, that actual insect is not much bigger around than the hook that we're tying it on. So we want to keep everything back there to an absolute minimum. At this point, I'm going to need to put some dubbing on my thread, and I've already got that selected. This is a very fine dubbing. This is Spirit River Fine and Dry. Now I'm going to take the yellow thread that I cut earlier and put it underneath the hook shank and pull it up between those 3 pieces of micro pivots and trap that in place with the dubbed thread. And there I have my split tails. Now I will take my dubbed thread and start wrapping this forward on building up a very finely tapered abdomen. Okay, that's going to work. Now, on this size 14, I'm going to go back to the yellow thread that I split the tails with. On the size 14, I'm going to clip both of those ends together, and I'm going to twist them together into one single larger diameter thread. On smaller sizes, I may bury one end of that loop under the dubbing. This is what I'm using to rib the fly with. Counter wrapping that, make the dub body just a little more sturdy. Bring it up and then tie that off. Now that's about half of our pattern right there. We have the 3 split tails and a nice fine abdomen on our fly. The next step is going to be to add our wing post in such a manner that doesn't make a lot of bulk. The whole reason for the design of this fly is to eliminate the bulk from the tying process. For the wing post material, I'm going to use Z-line. I'm going to take half as much as I want the finished post to be, bring that under the hook shank and up on both sides. The thread is hanging at the rear of where I'm putting the post. I'm going to cross underneath and bring it up to the front of the post on top. From this position, I'm going to make one single turn of thread around the post. Then I'm going to cross underneath and go back to where I started. And that's all there is to putting on a parachute post. I've got a little piece that's looped in there. We'll get that out of the way. Now I have a hackle that has already sized here, and I'm going to hold that with the shiny side up, and I'll tie that in right behind the post. Trim a little of the hackle butt off. And now we're going to take another light application of dubbing, get that on our thread, and that's what we're going to build up the thorax with. Now, as I'm building up the thorax, there's a couple of things that I need to do. I'm continuing the taper of the abdomen. Now I'm going to wrap my hackle. The first turn is going to go right on top of the dubbing. For the second turn, I'm going to pull the hackle slightly underneath, stretch it out tight. The third turn goes underneath the second turn. And I'm going to pull that down on the far side from me and bring that thread around, and that captures the hackle. As long as I keep tension on that, that hackle isn't going to go anyplace. I'm going to take my fingers and sweep those hackle fibers back out of the way. Now I can come in with my thread, take 3 or 4 or 5 turns around there, and get that hackle tied off securely around the hook shank. Push the thread out of the way with my fingers, and I can trim off the tip of that hackle. And there are a few little hackle fibers there where I don't want them, so we'll get rid of those. Now, one more very small application of dubbing, just to finish off the nose of the fly. Again, I'm going to sweep those hackle fibers back out of the way and build up a little tapered nose here. Nothing critical here. And now we'll put on our 5-turn whip finish with no head cement. And that is going to last the life of the fly. Just about got it finished up now. I'm going to take that round parachute post and flatten it out into more of a mayfly wing shape. Then I'll come in with my scissors, and with just 2 clips I can approximate the shape of that mayfly wing. And there is my parachute. This is an excellent mayfly adult pattern. I'm going to tie it in whatever size and color is going to match the naturals on the water. Try a few and I hope they'll work for you.